Oh, well, everybody know who I want next. I want Terrence Crawford next.
You're going to make that happen?
Huh?
You're going to make that happen?
Oh, definitely. That's the fight that I want. That's the fight everybody else want. Like I said, I'm going to get these straps that I'm going to go over there and take his shit too.
All right. Errol, congratulations. Terrific fight this evening.
Thank you, man. Now, strap season, I know what time it is, baby. Terrence, I'm coming for that motherfucking belt.
All right.
I'm not catching fades anymore. Gotta keep my hands clean when they come for the board. Keep it smooth like a dawn, making moves in the dark. Cause I learned how to swim in the pool full of sharks. Now they coaches, cause they can't read all his motions. How the kid never switch codes, but he code switch focus. Staring down your team with a frozen, ice cold look that could end the summer solstice. Cause I'm more like the top dog. Keep on running game and the gang will accost y'all. I be calling plays from a plane while I'm off court. But we ain't the same, you a lame, I'm a mob star. Actually, I'm a top dog on a stat sheet. Off court, but I call plays for the athletes. When the cop cars try to catch me, cause I rolled off in a taxi. Put my feet up, I'm relaxing. Singing Figaro with no accent. While I pour strings from the streets in. Do it all with a straight face, I'm the kingpin. Top dog, top flow, boss mode, I'm the kingpin. Showstopper, top dog, Godfather, I'm the kingpin. They know I'm a dog and a beast, man. Yeah, I keep the peace with a piece, man. I ain't got no time for a piece, man. Why would I respond to a pawn? I'm the... Hold up.
If I let my dogs off the leash, then you might want to get out of Dodge by the evening. Honestly, think it's not the blood in the beef. If they don't leave anything behind after eating.
I can see you soft, ever thought about retreating. If you never have, then they'll give you a reason. Better watch your tone, lose your bass when you speaking. Underneath the mask is the wrath of a beast. When you learn how to smile in their face, then go cutthroat. Then they want to call you a con when the blood cold. I remember starving while y'all had a truckload. Now I'm with the mob with the call and the gusto. I'm a top dog on a stat sheet. Off court, but I call plays for the athletes. When the cop cars try to catch me, cause I rolled off in a taxi. Put my feet up, I'm relaxing. Singing Figaro with no accent. While I pour strings from the streets in. Do it all with a straight face, I'm the kingpin. Top dog, top flow, boss mode, I'm the kingpin. Showstopper, top dog, Godfather, I'm the kingpin.
What's up, everybody? What's going on, man? You know what I'm saying? We just had some wonderful boxing, man. I mean, we just had to get back and talk about, you know what I'm saying, what was the best fight of the night? You know what I'm saying? I want to talk about, you know what I'm saying, what kind of impact each fight had on each division. You know what I'm saying? What's the most important fight to move boxing forward, right? You know, I want to get some people in, you know what I'm saying, and we can chop it up, you know what I'm saying, because, you know, it's very rare that we have this many fights. Now, I'm not saying like, you know, all of them were, you know what I'm saying, power hitters, but that Claressa Shields, you got to admit, that Claressa Shields fight was the shit. You know what I'm saying? That fight was top notch, you know what I'm saying, having an undisputed bout, you know what I'm saying, from a champion, you know what I'm saying, that's already been undisputed twice. Now she's 3-time undisputed champion. That's totally impressive, man. I have to put Claressa Shields up there as pound for pound the best fighter in the world. And I want to talk to it, you know, so I want to talk to you guys about it and just see what everybody think about the fights. What's going on, Seawood? Yes, they sure did. Oh yeah, not to forget Savannah, man. Savannah, she did a great job. She had a close one. She had me on the edge, Seawood. Man, she was looking a little shaky in the middle rounds, but man, did she pull it through? She sure did, man. She hit them women, just like EJ say, man, them women can fight, bro. They get in there and they don't hold nothing back. And you know, they fight from grit. Not to say that they don't have a lot of boxing skills, but one thing you can see is that they really care about the sport. They really care about what they're doing in that ring. And you could just see the emotion and you could see the grit. And that's where the men used to be. We only have a few men that fight with that kind of passion for the sport. And every time I see Carissa Shears ever response, what I'm saying, the passion in her voice for boxing, she's so articulate. It's just full force, full forward with her. There's nothing fake about her. She's all authentic. Seawood said, he said, I did want Carissa to stop her though. Yeah, he said women's boxing rounds need to be moved to 3 minute rounds. Yeah. Yeah, I found out what that was, Seawood, when we used to be on the panel, man. Saying you had to close out YouTube. I had no idea that you had to do that. That's why I was getting that echo. Just wanted to let you know that I didn't know about this damn equipment back then. And but yeah, he says I want, yeah. I would, I thought she had a good chance. That girl was tough, man. She was tough because did you see the body shots that Carissa Shields was like ripping her with, man, on the inside? She was getting good leverage on those shots, and she was going, I mean, repeatedly to the. She looked like Errol Spence Jr. now. You know what I'm saying? The way she was ripping shots to the body. I mean, I was so impressed. And her defense, yeah, she got caught, what I'm saying, pulling out to the side sometimes, and she got clipped pretty good. But Marshall, she's not coordinated enough, what I'm saying, to put her punches to get together to really put punches to get her on the outside. And so it was dangerous when Carissa was pulling out or she was trying to escape from one side. She would get caught, what I'm saying, every now and then, but she didn't get caught consistently unless she was on the ropes. And I thought she did a good job relaxing. Uh, that was another thing. Her ability, you could see the experience. She was comfortable on the ropes. She was able to handle the pressure of Marshall. Man, Marshall was a beast, bro. I'm talking about she was coming through there like Clubber Lang. She was all up in her wheelhouse, bro. And did you see the size difference between the women? Um, that lady looked like a giant, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the power, you know what I'm saying? I mean, she was just she was awkward. She didn't have the speed. You know what I'm saying? I think that definitely helped Clarissa out a lot. She didn't have the speed to keep up with Carissa. Carissa could escape, and she didn't know how to cut off the ring well enough. She was cutting it off at times, but she couldn't keep her, you know what I'm saying, pinned. You know what's going on, C Wood in the building. What's going on, C Wood? What's happening with you, bro?
Same old shit, different day. How you doing, partner?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good, man. That wasn't that an excellent fight, bro. Carissa Shields, a performance that she put on, bro. Wasn't that amazing?
Yeah, I mean, I Shields did what I thought she would do, come in and start working that body and trying to get her out of there in a smart way. And when she saw that Marshall was a lot tougher than she anticipated, she just
Mm-hmm.
systematically tried to break her down. But
Mm-hmm.
Marshall was definitely tough. Anyone calling it other than that is in Twilight Zone. This girl can fight, and she got a good chin, and she's rugged, and she don't mind mixing it up. So I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed that aspect of what Marshall brought to the table. But Shields just had way too much of everything at one
Mm-hmm.
time to be overtaken. So it was a good fight, very good fight.
What did you think of Shields' defense? Because I was so impressed, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because she was clearly, this lady was so long. The lady was strong. She had a great amateur pedigree and background. So, Carissa Shields had to be on point. And when I tell you, sometimes when she would, there was times when she would just, how could I explain? She would slow down the fight. She would slow down, and she wouldn't punch. She would just put her glove and pin Marshall's glove, and she would just be aware of what punches she's throwing so she could parry it, and she just slowed down the fight, and so she could get her rest, take breaks. And I just saw the pro. I saw the experience in her, man. I think you. Let me see. I need to drop the link again. Let me see. I saw the experience there. I mean, it was times where she was just slow. She was just controlling the pace of the fight, and then Marshall, to her, you know, what I'm saying, to give her some praise. You know, she ramped it up. I'll say in the middle rounds. You know, what I'm saying, and she really stopped putting on the pressure. Yeah, she really, you know, she really stopped putting on the pressure. But I was so impressed, just her all around pro game, man. She was able to slow it down at times. She didn't get, you know, how she used to always get overly aggressive at times, and she just did it in spots. And maybe she didn't have a choice because she seemed like she was a little gassed in the later rounds. She seemed like she was running out, but she was able to handle it because of her experience, the way she was, you know what I'm saying, blocking some of Marshall's tactics to move her back to the ropes, you know, to stay in the middle of a ring, just enough to get her off her game. And I just thought it was just so tactful. I mean, she just showed me a lot that she is so experienced, just such a great pro, man. She astonished me with her skills, the way she would cover up, go low, you know what I'm saying, and get a body shot in there. I was just like, I was screaming. I was like, did y'all see that, bro? I said, you got some dudes who can't do that, bro. I mean, man, I was just blown away by that performance because I knew she had to dig deep. I knew Marshall came on strong, and she was throwing them things, man. I'm talking about what was it, the 10th, the ninth, 10th round? She was throwing them things. She was really trying to pick up the pace, and I saw Marshall look like maybe she was kind of like slowing down. I was getting a little worried for you know, hoping she wasn't going to run into anything. They really left it all in the ring last night, and you could see it on their face. You know, she got so emotional in the, you know, what I'm saying, in the interview after the fight, and that's something I love seeing from Claressa too. She just, you know, you could see the work she put in this fight. She really trained hard, and it showed up. Man, what do you think?
No, 100%. You know, I think what Clarissa brought to the table is,
Hmm.
you know, putting herself in positions where she could get her shots off
Hmm.
without smothering her work as she had done in
Hmm.
the past, and being tactful in conserving her gas tanks too, because you know
Hmm.
I think she since and through the film study, she saw that, you know, Marshall, you know, stays game most, you know, throughout the entire fight. And the worst thing you want to do with a puncher is you run out of gas when the puncher still got some in the tank. You know,
Hmm.
you got some real problems in front of you. So again, I was overall impressed with the way she managed the clock, managed the ring,
Hmm.
showed dominance, backed up when she needed to back up to get better positioning. And you were right, she was sniping in those body shots quite frequently. Um, and no takeaway from Marshall at all. She, you know, she came to fight. I think they kind of did not think it all the way through with a strategy for Clarissa. And I think they just kind of ran out of things to do. You know, at one point where you could see a little bit of frustration in Marshall's face too, and
Hmm.
you can hear it from the coach, her father, or whoever that Peter guy is in the corner, yelling to her, you know, what are you doing? You know, fight every round, fight every second. You know, I think that was just
Hmm.
a case where I think where Marshall was starting to run out a little bit, run a little hot in her engine, and so she was trying to slow it down to pace herself, but Shields just kept her foot on the gas. Um, and there was periods in the 10th round, I believe, ninth or 10th, where Shields looked like she too needed a breather or two,
Hmm.
and she just backpedaled a little bit to save herself some of that fuel, because you know the 11th and 12th rounds you got to have your shit together, because again, a fighter who's got a little more in the tank than you, that ain't afraid of you and got some punching power, is going to it's going to come in and try to decapitate you, especially if they sense that you're running out of gas. So overall,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had a great weekend of boxing. I mean, at one point, I had all my TVs going at the same time until I had to leave. I went down to the Barclay to the Wilder fight. So, I watched the ladies' fights early, and then I jumped in the car and zipped downtown. And that was electric. The Barclay was totally on fire. I mean, it was slow coming in, leading up to the Wilder fight. But then once we got down to the co-main event, and the dog and Plant came out, the seats filled in immediately.
Mm.
It was a good night of boxing all the way around.
What do you think about that? We had Devin Haney versus Kambosos. We had Caleb Plant, and we had it was a frustrating night for me because I wanted to see them all, so I had to dart back and forth.
Right.
And I would go to the Devin fight wasn't on, or when that one came on, I had to go. That's when the Plant fight was on, and then I knew Devin Haney was going to outbox Kambosos, so I said, I'll miss a few rounds of him boxing him to go catch the Caleb Plant fight. But by the time I got back to the Caleb Plant fight, he was already knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, geez. I said, but I knew he was going to knock out Anthony Dirrell because we know Anthony Dirrell is at the end of his career, not to take away nothing from Caleb Plant, but we just know he's an elite fighter. We know his boxing skills are elite, and we know that Dirrell can't really move like that anymore. Now, if he would have caught Dirrell maybe 5 years earlier, it probably would have been a better fight for Caleb Plant. I don't know if he could have beat Caleb Plant, but I think it would have been a more competitive fight.
Right.
Because Anthony Dirrell looked like a dude that's past it. His reflexes just wasn't there, bro.
No,
It
yeah.
just wasn't there.
Mhm.
What's going on, Renee Box Young? Let me just holler out some of my folks because I don't want to think I'm ignoring them. What's going on, Grassroots? What's going on, bro? What's going on, y'all? Please subscribe to Renee Box Young, man. That man has some out of sight content. You know what I'm saying? He put in a lot of work in this boxing space. What's going on, AJ64? What's going on, bro? You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's what do you? I mean, because when I saw the replay, I saw Caleb Plant hit him with a left to the body and a left up top, and that was all she wrote, bro. And he went to sleep. You know what I'm saying, like a baby.
Yeah.
I was like,
I was hoping Dirrell would have a little bit left. I wanted to see what Caleb had left in him after taking that loss to Canelo. Sometimes when a dude lose who hasn't lost before or lost in a way that was, egregious, like a knockout or something, it's like psychologically they are not the same fighters when they get back in the ring.
mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to see if if there was going to be some real testing of his mental. But yeah, anyone who's paid any attention knows that Dirrell is staring retirement straight in the face and just trying to deny it as long as possible. But it's time for him to pack it up before he get himself really, really hurt. And last night, that shot was so. I mean, if you were in the venue, it sounded like someone hit a watermelon with a baseball bat. It was a cracking shot. And when he pulled his hand back after he threw the shot, you could see Dirrell just crumpling. Before his body even took to the ground, you could see it in almost just the spirit leaving him. And it was just a good shot. I knew he wasn't getting up from that shot. It was just too hard on the chin, too flush, and it was a beautiful counter, So I wasn't surprised that he laid there.
And were you surprised by Anthony Dirrell's body? Because when I saw his body, and I know that, this could be deceiving, you know what I'm saying? But he wasn't as cut. His body wasn't as hard. It was kind of soft. And, he just didn't seem like he didn't seem like a fresh fighter. You know what I'm saying? He seemed like he was moving like he really didn't want to fight. He didn't have that energy. I just didn't see the aura around him like he's gonna come out here and give it his all. You know, it's kind of like this was just another fight for him, just a run in the mill fight. Um, and I could just see it in his body language, you know. And
Yeah.
it kind of concerned me, you know. It kind of concerned me. I said, you know, I know he talked a lot of trash, but I think he was just trying to sell the fight. And you know, kind of like I kind of get the same feeling from Keith Thurman. You know, other fighters that at the end of their careers, you know, I'm looking at Terrence Crawford, the way he's moving, the way he's talking. You know, just don't look at their words, just look at how they body language. It's not like they got that fire anymore. You know, you remember when Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence met after the Maurice Hooker fight? Remember that energy?
Absolutely.
I'm talking about that kind of energy. I don't see that on some of these fighters that are getting these matches. And Anthony Dirrell, you know, they'll talk a little shit, but you can look in their body language. It's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? They just going through the motions. And that's why I enjoyed Claressa Shields in her fights, because she's so passionate, and it just makes you passionate, you know, to want to see the fight, because you know, you can see the energy there. And with Anthony Dirrell, you know, say I always been kind of down on him, because he always either he get cut in the fight, or he fall out the damn ring and spring his ankle, or he get hit by lightning. So you know, I always been a little, you know what I'm saying? So he's just bad luck Smurf, you know what I'm saying? So so just when you get behind him, you think he kind of like AB. He's kind of like the AB of the 168 division. You know, he just have bad luck. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So when I saw him about to fight Caleb Plant, I said, I know Caleb Plant is trying to fight you. He's not trying to see David Benavidez.
Right.
But for the same reason he's trying to dodge David Benavidez, it's the same reason I want him to fight David Benavidez. Because if you're gonna believe in Caleb Plant, then he need to want all the smoke, because there's not a lot of 168 contenders that's actually going to get in the ring together.
Right.
You know, you got David Morrell Jr. out there, and he's a hell of a fighter. So, you know, as soon as these guys get in the ring, boxing is going to be back to where you know, where it's supposed to be, because we got some competitive fights still on the table, and it's just kind of crazy to me, you know what I'm saying, that these guys are not getting it in. They still trying to, what's going on, who's real, what's going on, my brother, you know what I'm saying? And you know, but the next fight I want to talk about, what do you think about Devin Haney? How did he look to you in the Kambosos fight? How did he look to you?
He looked like he needed to get up out of 135. From the weigh-in, he looked frail to me. He rehydrated well, because he didn't look that way in the fight. But I also think he tried to do something different last night.
He sure did.
He wanted to make a statement and beat George up, but also to say to those guys at 140, because that's what he's got to go to 140 next. To say to them guys, you know, I'm coming, and got more pop than you guys are giving me credit for. But I don't know if that translated last night. You know, George is pretty strong and pretty durable in the chin, because he got hit with some shots that I think, you know, would have disrupted his thinking, his neurologicals a little bit, but he kept coming forward with it. But we just looked at a real matter of skill difference on total display. Haney employed some of the similar tactics from the first fight, get a few shots off and then tie up a little bit to force George to reset. But and there are people that are criticizing that style, but you know, I don't have a criticism for it at all. It's allowable, and it's a tactic, and it's fresh, and it worked. Now, if he'd have been like running around the ring and trying to avoid the contact, and you know, it makes that style look kind of pansy. But no, he engaged, he got his shit off, he clinched. You know, I like the fact that they were both getting a little dirty with each other in the clinches, like you know, each of them giving one another shots to the side, a couple of shots in the back. I'm like, oh, look at Dev punching dude in the back a little bit, but look at George punching him in the back too. So you know, I appreciated that they said, hey, do it to me, I'm gonna do it back to you, and not complaining to the ref that this guy's punching me in the back, getting distracted, and getting the ref involved with the fight more than he needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit tickled by the ref too. His antics were a little funny, and when he was kind of saying, okay, start boxing, box. Stop boxing, box. I'm like, I usually don't hear the ref giving full sentences like that. You usually hear him box and stop or what have you. But it was a good fight. I watched it in between the other fight. But once I saw how bloodied up Kambosos was, and how he would throw a couple shots and couldn't get nothing off. You could see he doing all that weird kind of switching back and forth, southpaw.
Mm-hmm.
I said that's gonna last 4 or 5 rounds, and then he's gonna go back to what he normally does. It just kind of reminded me of trying to teach a fighter a new style under a new coach. You just haven't had enough time to marinate and get that style down pat. Because once you start getting touched up, you're gonna go back to what you know. Especially if you've had success with it, and Kambosos has had success with his style. I'm glad this contract is over with respect to Australia, with respect to Dev having to fight Kambosos again. I'm glad that crap's out of the way. Now we have to see what Bob Arum has in mind for Dev. But don't be surprised that he don't try to convince Dev that to wait around for one more fight for Loma, which I don't really advise Dev to do that. I think Dev is just too big for 135 right now, and his physical condition showed up at the weigh, and you can physically see that he wasn't good. His organs and all that stuff where he appeared to be very, very dehydrated. Again, like I said, he did rehydrate well fight night, but the day before, I didn't like the way he looked at all. It just didn't look healthy.
Yeah, he missed a lot of shots in that fight.
Yeah.
He usually like pinpoint accurate. You saw the Devin in the first Kambosos fight, and then this one, he was just missing all over the place. Did you see the size difference? Did you note that how big Devin looked, compared to Kambosos? He looked huge, bro.
Right.
And it got to a point in the fight where Devin was just too big for him, bro. He was just too big. I don't care what stance that Kambosos took. He would sometimes Dev would fall in and Kambosos would come back with a left hook, and he just couldn't reach him.
You're right.
He couldn't reach him. It was a few times where Devin was wide open for the left hook, and he threw it, and he just couldn't reach him, bro. His arms are too short. He was too small, because Devin keep that jab out there as a defense mechanism, and he'll keep his arm out there to keep Kambosos off. And when Kambosos go to throw the left hook, he couldn't reach him, bro.
Right.
And the more energy he lost, even when he was switching back from southpaw to orthodox, that shit didn't help him.
No,
it didn't help him. He couldn't reach him because Devin already knew what he was trying to do. He knew his tactics, so he wasn't afraid because he already had the range, under control. And when I think he did hit, I think Dev eye, I think got a little a little messed up, but by then, Devin had already worn him down. I thought y'all saw Devin leaning on him, using some tactics. I said Devin is probably going to go for the knockout. And that's what I thought he was playing at. That's why I thought he was leaning on him like that, because I thought he was going to try to, get him up out of there like Loma did Rigondeaux. Remember how he kept leaning on Rigondeaux?
Yeah.
And I thought he was just going to use his weight to wear down Kambosos even more quickly, just to kind of give him a taste of something different. And he didn't really get a chance to go for the knockout, but I was just really surprised. What stood out for me was how many punches he was missing, and he just wasn't as crispy or sharp as he usually is, And everybody was saying last night, it was like, damn, man, Devin, he's not looking too good, bro.
Yeah. But that's a testament to the physical condition that I'm talking about. Like when you drag your body down so low, and you got 24 hours to kind of get back your strength and your hydration.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need in fact, I know you need at least a day or two to
Mm-hmm.
be maxed out. And I just think he
Right.
just didn't have enough time to max out. Now, if that fight
Mm-hmm.
had happened tonight, I think we would have seen a much more focused, much more timed, much more hydrated, and much stronger Dev. But I think he just didn't have enough time last night from Friday into Saturday to, whatever, taking into consideration the Australia time difference, to really get his body in full capacity. But he had enough, and he did enough to make it look easy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, let's say Devin moves up to 140. Who you think in trouble up there, or is anybody in trouble? Except for maybe I see Teofimo Lopez. The other ones, that's going to be a difficult. That's going to be a difficult jump. I mean, Ryan Garcia, of course, Teofimo Lopez, toast. You know what I'm saying? Anybody besides there, who you think Devin can beat up at 140?
I think he's a problem for most of them dudes in that weight class. The problem. I think the problem.
Rigorou?
I
You
think
think he give a Rigorou problems?
I think skill for skill, he's a problem for any of those dudes up there. What I think is the problem is I don't know if he has enough to keep them dudes off of him.
Mm-hmm.
The lack of power is a glaring deficit. And not to say he don't have power at all, but the dudes up there just tend to hit harder more often. Dev often has that kind of shocking power that 2 or 3 of those shots can have you really reeled. But Prograis, he got that kind of power, that thudding power that hits you and resets your whole brain. And before you can get your equilibrium back, he's on top of you with the next shot, and down you go. And I don't know if Dev has the kind of reserve in his power bank, for lack of a better term, to keep them dudes off of him. But I know skill for skill, he can hold his own. Just don't know if that gap in the power will make him be able to hold his own for 12 solid rounds.
Mm-hmm. So now we're gonna turn to Deontay Wilder fight with Robert Helenius. Man, that one I missed that one. I just turned to it and the fight was already over, bro.
Yeah. That was a hard shot too. I've been seeing on some of the panels people talking about Wilder and Helenius. That fight was staged, and he took a dive, and he got the extra envelope when they got to the hotel. Just shit like that. So it's so frustrating when you hear that kind of stuff about the fighters, especially considering that everybody at Wilder put that right hand on has gone down.
Right.
So I don't even understand the merit of that argument. But this is boxing, this is competition, so we all take a side and we see what we see based on our sensors and the way we view things. So I can't say that these people are totally off base in their thinking, but I don't think it was a dive in any way. I think what happened is what was supposed to happen. Wilder touch you, if your chin is not there, you go to sleep. Bottom line.
What I was impressed by was the timing, bro. His timing is there, bro. You know what I'm saying? We know he got the power, and power is the last thing. What's going on, Slimy? You know what I'm saying? Timing is the last thing to go, you know what I'm saying, in a heavyweight. But I was impressed that the timing, after all this time he had off, and that was an awkward angle that he hit Robert Helenius, and he was able to time it, bro. And usually when you're 35, you can't dance like you did when you was 21.
No.
But he was able to get that shot off with enough leverage on it to lay him out, bro. And that was impressive.
Well, and when you put it, yes, I agree with you in that respect. But I think we're not talking about Helenius is not like a B plus A level fighter, and Helenius made some, he made a mistake in his hand positioning when he came to Wilder at the ropes. just hands out of position, and Wilder got around the shot and released the shot as soon as he got over it, the sloppy throw that Haney has put out there, and crack. I mean, it's just the way it happens.
No. But I'm just saying, like at 35, what I'm saying, and having a layoff coming off a loss, look at how, saying how, when you come back, right? But and not that he's a lister or whatever, but we know Helena's, he knocked out Kanowski.
Right.
And so, but what I'm saying is like, I'm shocked that the timing was just so on point.
With that particular shot, but if you go back and look at the 2 minutes of that round, Wilder missed some shots, some of them wildly, wildly and widely. So, I'm not. I think we got a chance to see, 3-4 rounds. I would be better positioned to give an opinion about his timing and accuracy. But for 2 minutes of a 3-minute round, I just didn't see it enough.
Well, what I'm trying to like when you like when a fighter get up in, like when a fighter get up. Go ahead, Slime. Go ahead. What you was gonna say?
Oh no, I was just saying like the way he set up the knockout, it was exceptional, and the timing, like I get what you're saying, Paul, because the timing, bro, that shit, nobody seen it coming. Like it was kind of like he was gonna turn him after he hit him with that last right hand to get out the corner, but he didn't even need the last right hand because the first right hand, that was a short right hand, put him out. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is crazy.
Yeah, and usually when you're 35, it's hard to pull the trigger like that. You know what I'm saying? Like on a moment notice, and he was at such a weird angle, and I was just like, damn, how did he smash him like that? You know what I'm saying? With that kind of accuracy.
That look like that Tank knockout.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I was impressed by that because I knew he had been out the ring for a while, and I know he's getting older. But I think that weight loss, you know what I'm saying, going back to his lighter weight helped him out a lot. I don't think he's a fighter that can gain weight like that because he has an advantage being a slender heavyweight. It helps him be able to use his athletic ability. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And whatever he got left, you know what I'm saying, of course he can shine on a heavyweight like Robert Helenius. He don't have any special effects, but he's still a pro.
Right.
And so if you're going to get diminished, a pro is going to you're going to see a pro is going to sniff out some things you need to work on. And I was just like I said, I didn't get to see that. All I saw was the knockout part. So I wasn't able to see anything else besides that because people were saying it was only 3 punches in the fight. I was like, damn, really? You know what I'm saying? There's only 3 punches. People, I don't know, they were just exaggerating. But I saw the angle on the punch, and I was like, damn, Wilder, for 35, he still got it, bro. He still got the power. He still got some timing. And I was just impressed by that. I was just like, wow, that was a really short space that he was able to clock this guy. And like you said, and like you were saying, Seawood, I see what you're saying, like, you know what I'm saying? This dude is a lesser opponent. So plus he's familiar with him. He's familiar with his style. I would think it was his sparring partner.
Right. For years.
So yeah, so he definitely knows this guy. So I think that might have had a lot to do with it. How many times they've been in the gym sparring around and that dude came with that same bullshit. He already know how he's gonna what I'm saying, how he's gonna close the distance. He knows when to punch because he sparred this guy a million times. So he know his punch range with this dude. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of, other factors, once you've been in the ring with somebody and, went rounds with them. So, you know what I'm saying? So, it's, we can't really say that Wilder's back yet until he fight maybe like Usyk, and Usyk, from what I understand, Usyk backed down from talking about fighting Deontay Wilder.
Right.
That's what I've heard, and I don't think it's because of this performance. I think what it is that they don't want to give Deontay Wilder a shot at undisputed. You know what I'm saying? I think they want to freeze him out of that. Um, so that's my little take on it. You know what I'm saying? What y'all think is anything to that? What I just said about them freezing, Wilder out from Usyk.
Mm. Well,
Don't be.
it's
Yeah.
possible.
Mm-hmm. What you thought about the fight, Slime? Oh, yeah, I think you did give your take. Did you see the Claressa Shields fight? You there, Slime? Hello?
Yeah, I think I'm around. I don't know where he is.
Oh, okay. I thought he was still, yeah, he in there. I mean, I still see him in here.
Yeah, his signal.
Try,
Maybe his signal's down.
yeah, he might have just stepped off for a second. But
Oh,
you
okay.
hear
My
Slime?
bad. My shit was on mute.
Oh, okay.
No, I was just
Yeah,
saying,
what
I seen the Shields fight, and she looked
man, what did you
real good, but I didn't like how she was. I don't know. I felt like the times where she was wailing off shots, she could have picked her spots better because she kind of got fatigued around round 5, and Savannah kind of picked up around that time. And
mm-hmm.
she started putting work in on Claressa when Claressa started going to the ropes to try to gain some fatigue. But I ain't gonna lie, she was countering her every time she led her to the ropes. She was leading her into a trap. Like every time she led her to the ropes, Savannah came in doing the herky jerky shit, throwing a couple shots, and then Claressa catch her right in the middle of that shit. Bow, and then reset her whole little thing and turn her and get off the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I really liked the work that she was doing, but it was just the wailing off of the shots. She was doing that just to keep her off of her.
Mm-hmm.
Because Savannah, she was hitting hard in there. I definitely seen the power coming from them punches, and it was coming from the leverage of the angles that she was coming from. But man, that was a good ass fight, bro. But Claressa, she
Mm-hmm.
shut her out. She really shut her out. It was like a 9-1, 8-2 at the best.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But
yeah,
I mean, she came out and I think she like really had to really get her respect. And that's what she did. She came out and just threw a shitload of punches. And she was connected. I think one time she hit it, looked like she hit about 12 times, you know what I'm saying, in a row. Yeah, did y'all remember that round? I think that might have been like round 2 or something, round 1 or 2.
yeah,
And she just came out and she hit her with like 12 punches, bro. You know what I'm saying? You don't see nobody throwing
yeah.
12.
That was the first couple minutes. First couple minutes of the
Right,
fight.
yeah. That's a matter of fact. That was round 1. Came out there and hit her with like 12 or 11 punches in a row, bro. You know what I'm saying? So she
So,
was really. Go ahead.
so,
Go ahead.
I,
Let's see.
so I definitely see that and remember that. I think part of what also occurred was Claressa needed to let Marshall know, I'm gonna put these hands on you. I ain't afraid of you.
And
That's
And
what I'm
when
saying. Got
and
that
when she
respect.
right,
she
and when
knows
she felt,
okay.
but go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Oh no,
What'd
I
you say,
just said,
Slim?
and the judges, she knew she needed to really make an impression on the fight for sure.
Yeah, that point too.
She
Very
felt
good
like she
point.
really needed that win.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I think that kind of the way she went hard for that early part. You know what I'm saying? Because she was throwing a lot of punches, bro. She was throwing a lot. She was really active, and I think that's why she kind of ran out of gas a little bit. And plus, Marshall was leaning on her too.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Marshall was really using that big body to lean on it. And Carissa, she started circling around up out of that because she see how she was trying to sap her strength. And she was using those ropes, you know what I'm saying, to get up out of there and gain rest. And she's a very intelligent fighter, man. I was very impressed by the tactics she used, you know what I'm saying, to get breaks. And those body shots was just magnificent, bro. The way she was ripping her. I don't know what kept Savannah Marshall up, bro. I really don't. Um, it looked like she should have went down, bro. But that woman is strong.
yeah, she's
And then
strong,
Yeah.
I didn't realize how big she was, bro.
and
You
she's
know, she
big.
And she got
She is.
a long ass reach too, fam. Like
Oh my God.
she
What
got
did
some
you
reach
think
on
of?
her.
What you thought about Bumgartner fight?
I thought the fight was close.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I said in criticism of Baumgartner about 3 weeks ago that her typical style of fighting in spurts and that 1-2 combination that she's known for throwing, she needed to mix up bringing the 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think after about 3 or 4 rounds, Mayer started to notice that there wasn't really much more and
Mm-hmm.
started to press it a little bit. Um, I don't know. I felt like, part of me felt like that fight was a draw.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, there was a swing round or two that kind of could go either way. But I won't say that I'm mad, and I definitely won't call it a robbery in any shape, form, or fashion.
Mm-hmm. Well, at one point in the fight, Bumgarner, she was just eating punches, bro.
Yeah,
Like she was just, it wasn't hurting her or nothing like that. She was actually just standing in mid range, letting this chick get off that left and that right, and she was hitting her with the
The middle
same
rounds.
punches. Right.
yeah,
She was hitting her with the same punch. I was like, girl, don't you see what she's hitting you? She's stepping in with the right, the left, and she's just timing you because you're staying in range. Then finally, like maybe 3 or 4 rounds later, she looked like she got the memo. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And she stopped staying way out of range and started circling. And I was like, what happened those rounds when she was just eating those punches? And I just couldn't. Maybe she was trying to make her work, or I just couldn't figure out what her strategy was. And because she just kept getting hit flush, and I was like, Baumgartner, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? You're letting it in the fight. And she continually, but then by the end of the fight, I'm gonna say about like maybe the last 2 rounds, I forgot the other lady name, but she started boxing, and that lady, where are they getting these Amazonian white girls that's long, big, long white girl? Where are they? They getting them from Sweden, or
Well,
they making them in a lab?
that girl's out of California.
Hmm.
Mayor, she's out of California, but again, I think, again, my opinion, I think Bumgarner squeaked by um,
Hmm.
in this one, and the fact that she said she wasn't given a rematch, I think reinforces that point too. That been there, done that, don't want to see it again. Let me move on because I got safely out of this one, you know. But
Hmm.
the money, they sweeten the pie enough, you know. I'm sure
And
there'll be a
shit.
reconsideration.
She ain't finna rematch these Dragos, and I think they asked Carissa Shield did she want to rematch old girl. I think they tried to press her, what I'm
No,
saying,
she
put on
said she said she would, but it had to
yeah,
be in the States.
yeah, but what I'm saying is at first she was, Carissa was trying to make the escape by like if it's not controversial, if you win by unanimous decision, you don't have to do a
Oh yeah,
rematch
she
if there's a
Right.
definitely
rematch
hey,
clause.
she definitely
She,
stated that for
yeah, she
sure.
Right.
said that.
So
She
right,
said
I'm
that.
just saying she was going to finesse her way up out of there, but then Marshall came over. She said, "Yeah, I'll give her a rematch." You know what I'm
Yeah, but
saying? So,
but is that really finesse?
T-Mobile Arena.
well, I mean, I think the GOAT will fight her, but you know what I'm saying? Like just like when Tank fought Isaac Cruz.
Right.
Now we all know he could beat him, but that dude tough, bro.
Yeah, but
You
Isak
know?
was a fighter with no belts.
Right, right.
You
I
know, so
understand that.
so I mean, there's a different weight on the scale for the for the Tank versus Aesop 2 versus Shield Marshall, both champions, um, leading up to the fight. So it's to me it's a little bit different, but
Well, to me, none of Tank fighters, he fight, they got belts, bro. You know what I'm saying? Not the
they've
I
been
mean,
belt holders. I mean,
okay.
yeah, Aesop held nothing. He just happened to be in the right spot at the right time.
But what I'm saying, the comparison I'm just trying to make is that they tough and that they really hard tough fighters, and when you go through a fight like that, it's kind of like it ain't that you're scared. You just don't want to fight that style because they're
Right.
kind of tough to
That shit a
figure out.
headache.
He broke his hand on that man
Mm-hmm.
hit on that man
Mm-hmm.
head,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, do you really want? I could beat him, but do you really want to fight this dude again? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Not that you're afraid. I think Tank would knock him out. And I just think it's kind of like that. You know, you don't want to go through that again because Claressa had to dig deep. Bumgartner had to dig deep. And on those kind of fights, you know, you can see how these fighters are moving now. They don't want tough fights. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? They don't want tough fights like that. We want to see them in tough fights like that, but they don't want those kind of tough fights. Now, I don't think Claressa Shields is afraid of anything like that, but you know, I'm pretty sure she do want something not like that, not like Savannah Marshall. She don't want to fight three more Savannah Marshalls. You know,
Right. Right. Well, there aren't three more out there, but I get your
uh,
point for sure.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, do you think like Sugar Ray Robinson? He fought uh, Jake LaMotta. You know what I'm saying? Like 6 times. Did he really want to do it though?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody who could take a post, a bat to the head and keep coming. You know what I'm saying? That's a hard way to make your money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tough 36 minutes.
Somebody who loves the combat, you know what I'm saying? His only claim to fame, you never knock me down. You
Right.
never knock me down, sugar. You know what I'm saying? You never knock me down. He all fucked up, got
Yeah.
lumps all over his head, his back, his neck. You never knock me down. It's like hell no. That's like fighting Moby Dick, the captain of Moby Dick, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know what I'm saying? From death, some hill's heart, type shit. It's like
Right.
you don't
Right.
want to
No
fight
doubt.
them kind of people. You
No, I
don't want to
understand.
fight those.
No, I entirely understand it. And
Mhm,
if you don't have to, why would you? I'm just simply suggesting that you move on to the next fighter.
mhm,
Um, who's there? Who is there? So Shields will take on. I think she'll fight Marshall again if the
mhm.
pot's right.
Yeah.
And if not, who will she fight next? Who else is in the division that would be a formidable enough fight that will generate the kind of money that a rematch with Marshall may very well generate?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I
Like you
don't know.
said, that she's the best. Really.
Yeah, yeah,
She's the best that Shields ever fought. Really.
yeah. I think so.
Um.
Yeah, definitely.
So what kind of who else could generate some kind of? So she may have to fight her again.
Yeah, that was kind of the point that I'm making with respect to that. Because I don't, you brought up Spence and Crawford in a previous part of our conversation, and I think they have a similar situation. Where will they generate with whom? What other fighter will they generate the amount of interest and money other than fighting one another? I don't think there's
Right.
anyone else in the division for that.
Hey, y'all. Eating
I think
remix.
that situation different with Alicia Baumgartner though, because she naturally an attraction for him. Like they
Right.
know that she gonna be the face
Look
of
what
women's
Eating the
boxing
remix
one
say.
day.
Look what Eating the remix say. He said Shields won 9-round correction. He said they gave Alicia the win because of those outfits she was wearing. Hey, I'm like on the live last night. I'm like, oh my goodness, this girl is sexy here. I was saying, trying not to let my old lady hear what I'm saying. I was like, man, she was sexy, man. I was just like,
You
what?
heard
What
what
Yeah.
she said in the build up. They replacing that bitch for real. Like that's exactly what they did, bro. Like
Yeah,
she
the
got
judge
paid
was
for it.
trying to rob her, but they looked at it. Like,
We
But
can't let
I ain't
this.
gonna lie, that I don't think that fight was close as we making it out to be. I feel like shit, Mayer was walking into that right hand all night. I put it in the comments, bro. Mayer was walking into bombs, like big bombs all night. I'm surprised she really like didn't get knocked the fuck out last night, bro. Like she was putting a jab on Alicia, but bro, when you getting countered with right hands all night, what's that jab? You know what I'm saying? That shit,
right,
you
right.
getting hit with the more devastating shots. And Alicia started at the end of I want to say about round 6, 7, she started putting punches together, bro. She started throwing them bitches in combinations, and she was
Yeah,
Yeah,
tagging
yeah.
Mayor. Mayor,
yeah, but
she was
she
still
had no.
she was tagging her with a one. She was tagging her with a jab. She wasn't throwing nothing else but a jab. And then she would come with a right hand every now and then. You know what I'm saying? You can't win a fight like that. You gotta put punches together. You gotta throw different type of punches. You can't just throw a 1-2 all night and feel like you won the
Mm-hmm.
fight. You know what I'm saying? You gotta throw something else. You gotta do something else. Old girl showed different dimensions. And she was and it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy because she fought the lesser competition up until then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So, but her
but
style just gave Mayer all type of problems. All type of, she was too sleek. Too sleek.
Yeah,
well, Mel
but
was able to reach her, bro, with little effort.
absolutely, absolutely. At least she was
That
there to get
length,
touched.
because she kept staying in mid range. I don't know. I thought maybe she was going to try to slip the jab or something, but she was catching that jab right in the face, and I was like, "What's going on?" You know what I'm saying? I mean, is she
That bitch long.
disoriented or?
That bitch
Well, I'm
long.
just
But she
saying.
was getting countered. She was hitting her back every time she hit her with that jab.
No, I
She was
wouldn't
hitting her
say
with the
every
right hand.
time. It was a whole stretch
Ooh.
there when she came on in the middle rounds where she
Yeah, that
wasn't
was the
doing
middle
nothing but
rounds.
taking
I
punches.
feel like the first three rounds she pulled out easily, and then she lost the next two rounds, and then she pulled out the next two, and then she lost the next one, and then she won the next couple. That's what I'm saying. The fight was probably like 7-3, but she was getting fucked up in the middle rounds because she was getting a little fatigued,
What's
and
going on,
she
Roman
got
and
her
Emily
second.
Jones? What's going on? hmm
That
hmm
shit was
Yeah,
a hell of a fight.
but I think the women had the best. Um, I think they had the fight of the night. Carissa Shields. I think they had the more exciting. They took the drama of last night for me. But when you come to, I know, we all know what Deontay Wilder's going to do. We expect him to do that with Robert Helena. So with Carissa Shield fight, that was more exciting. You know what I'm saying? Because we already knew that Devin was going to beat, um, Kambosos, and we already knew that, Caleb Plant was probably going to whip up on, knock out Dirrell. So to me, Carissa Shield had the most impressive fight of the night for me because it showed me, she got tested
Right.
and she passed the test. You know what I'm saying? What's going? Yeah, she passed the test, man. She dug deep, and when she started fighting, bro, and I think it was like maybe the last round, and you could see how exhausted she was, and she was just throwing back. And they told her she had to dominate. They told her to keep throwing punches, to keep throwing in the corner, and she went out there and she did what she could do. You know what I'm saying? And I was just impressed by that, bro. The grit and determination she showed was just all that, man. It was just all that. Just seeing a champion hard, and I was so impressed by that, bro.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was so impressed by that, bro. Cause you could see it. She couldn't. I mean, she was giving it all she had. Even Savannah Marshall, she was giving it all she had because she had a sense of urgency. You know what I'm saying? But she just couldn't get as accurate. You know, Carissa was, like you said, was moving in position, so she couldn't punch her. And I was just loving every minute of it. She was tired. Carissa was going in, holding on to her, punching on the inside. I was just like, bro, I was on my toes, bro. 'Cause I was like, please don't run into nothing. You know what I'm saying? And she did it. She did it. She did her thing. I said she didn't need, no help, bro. She knew exactly what she was doing.
Let me ask you a
And
question.
hmm say what now?
I said I have a question regarding the Gary Antoine.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. I guess I don't have to ask my question.
he a stepchild. He was adopted. He was adopted, and they told him just keep his hair, braided up. He'll look like one of them. And
He he's the weakest link, I think.
Yeah. I mean, shit. I mean, when I first seen I forgot the Spanish guy he fought, and that Spanish guy was getting with his ass. You know what I'm saying? And
Rodriguez.
yeah, he barely got by that guy. And I was like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? And he just from there, he just barely win his fights. And this dude just knock him on his butt, and he's running into shots. And I'm like, what is going on? Where's the slickness?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where's the slickness, bro? You know, that's your family trademark. You know, you doing your own thing. What's going on? Don't Gary train these guys, or I
Well,
don't know who is. Go ahead.
Gary is the head trainer now, but Dad was instrumental in the training too. I'm not sure
Hmm.
how much he was instrumental up, to the point where he became incapacitated in the wheelchair,
Hmm.
because giving instructions is different than being able to give them and show them.
Right.
But when I saw him fight about 3 fights ago, I trying to remember who it was. I can't remember the guy's name he fought. I always said this dude just don't seem to have the same dog as his brothers, and I don't know if he has the same commitment to the game as his brothers.
Hmm.
But so I think, I mean, being in the arena watching the fight from the seat, you see it a little differently than being in front of the screen at home. But
Hmm.
I think it became a game of strategy for Rodriguez. After he took the cut, the headbutt on the chin or on the jaw, or whatever, and he had the option of getting the hell up out of there, because he knew he was already past the fourth round, so he was going to go to the cards, and he knew he had done enough to win the vast majority of the rounds. He took that road and went on up out of there.
Hmm.
I thought when the last head clash, I thought Gary caught him with something, the way he fell.
Yeah.
But then I saw that he hit him straight on the jaw with the forehead. I'm like, oh, he damn near killed this man. Unintentionally.
So I don't know what it is about this rushing forward shit that the Russell's brothers are doing. Because I think Russell, when he fought his last opponent, he was doing a lot of that. I mean, I know they short and they got to go inside,
Yeah.
but it's a way to do it. The way to work it your way inside, and they tend to come straight forward like a Sean Porter. And I'm seeing a lot of this from them.
Right.
I'm saying,
It becomes their tactic is to bully their way in versus finessing their way in.
yeah. And see, I don't know if you saw that Olympic fight between Gary Russell and Boots Ennis. He was doing the same thing.
Yeah. It's a
You know,
trait.
hmm just pushing your way inside, bullying your way inside, using speed, explosiveness. But I don't think he could fuck with Boots now. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who's accurate and somebody who got a nice check left hook. And you saw how he was Antoine was running it. Antonio.
Yeah,
How he was
Antonio.
how he was running into that shit. You know what I'm saying? And getting his ass towed back.
Right.
Yeah. So, I don't know that it's just like, do they watch tape or what I'm saying? I don't know. They got a family pedigree, so I just don't understand why they're making these mistakes.
Well, again, some of the stuff I think is part training, the way they're being trained,
Hmm.
um, and you develop these particular traits, and they're hard to break. Again, if you have success with certain things, certain
Hmm.
approaches, it's hard to not do it. And gamble and doing something new that looks better, but isn't a natural fit for you. You know, doesn't it's not the same level of confidence. But nonetheless, I think I think this Gary Russell might need to consider a different career path. Um, because I think if like what Rodriguez hit him with, had him rolling around on the floor and he falling on his face.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. But there are other dudes out there chomping at the bits after seeing that. Like, you remember when Rodriguez fought Inoue. Inoue got him out of there in 2 rounds in a devastating way. Like, it was ugly. So when the fight started, I'm like, I know this Rodriguez kid. I recognize his face. So I, of course, on the fly, I go to the almighty YouTube and pull it up, and I'm like, yeah, I know this kid. He got clipped, hurt, and didn't want no more of this fight. The ref had to save his life, And they turn around and do the same shit to Gary. I think he would have knocked Gary out if the fight would have continued. I think he would have knocked Gary out. Which honestly, no disrespect to anybody, but I would have liked to see that happen. Because I think it gives you a chance to reset your reality meter. Are you really made for what it requires? Do you really have what it takes to overcome this adversity and the adjustments to win? And I don't know if this particular Russell has it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
He's definitely encountering a lot of problems. You know what I'm saying? He don't seem to be as had the dominance that his brothers are showing.
Yeah.
And Gary, his last fight, he took a couple of shots, bro. He got touched,
Right.
but he still got, he's still early in the fight game. I think he got 16 fights, something like that. He's still growing, but them Gary boys, they got to tighten up if they're gonna be continue the dynasty. They're gonna have to tighten up because they got a pedigree, to uphold, and it's a certain standard, and expectations when you see that Russell, name, on the board. So
Yeah.
to me, they just seem like they're a notch below of what the senior Gary is,
Right.
and you know what I'm saying. So they don't seem to be as talented, but we don't know, maybe, they just whatever circumstance they lost their father, um, losing members of their family, could be part of the effect of all that. It's hard to train, what I'm saying, when you're going through stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, of course. There's that
And
mental toll.
he the baby of the family and everything. So, he had get, he's probably feeling it a little harder than the older brothers,
Right.
Never know. You never know. You know what I'm saying? They've been through a lot. That Russell family been through a lot.
Hey man, a quick. Let's circle back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Did you take a look at the replay of the body shot that Plant hit Dirrell with before
Yes,
he
I
hit him with the
did.
left hook?
Yeah, I
That was
did.
nasty.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nasty ass shot.
That setup was so sweet, but the refs he was stuck in mud. You know what I'm saying? For that shot, he took a picture. He
Yeah,
was right there. He got hit with the left, and he didn't even try to, cover up. I mean, and Plant just came up top and finished him off like any boxer would with muscle memory. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? That shot is automatic. You can't. It's almost like a video game. You know what I'm saying? You hit that combination, you're going low, you're going high, and he just ain't got it no more. His reflexes ain't. That's how you know his shit ain't there because you already know that combination.
right.
You know what I'm saying? You already know what's coming. And it wasn't like a shot that should have finished him.
Right.
And it's just because it was Anthony Dirrell. You know what I'm saying? He was just there for it. He couldn't move. He couldn't. He couldn't. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't get around it. It was time for him, what I'm
Yeah.
saying, to get up out of there. I was just surprised he fell so hard, bro.
Oh,
Um,
but Plant cracked, bro. When I say that shot was a thudding straight on the chin shot, I didn't think he was gonna get up. It was just too clean.
hmm
Plants. I think Plant's got like a 50 or 60% knockout rate, so he's got some ability to finish you off, given the opportunity. And
I just
bearing in mind that I think Dirrell's a minute or two from 40. So
I just wish he would have showed that against Canelo.
yeah. Well,
I just wish he would have.
the difference in respect, the difference in danger. Like Canelo's a very dangerous fighter. You take your eyes off for a second, and he's unloading some shit on you. Whereas I don't think Plant even had that level of worry at all going in there with Dirrell. Because Dirrell was on the comeback. He had been taking some lackluster or kind of shaky fights, and then the last 2 or 3, he making a really strong stance and got a knockout in 1 of the 3. So he's kind of showing flashes of his old self. Like you said,
but see,
go ahead.
Also, you know how they do. That's like Triple G fighting Royetta. And you know what I'm saying? They, if he win now and he gets a shot at a big, that's all that was. They just setting him up for, a big fight, and he's not a big. See, what we've noticed is that, if you're not a threat to the big fighters, you know what I'm saying? You a gatekeeper, you're a journeyman. That like what's his name? Gamboa. You know what I'm saying? You finna get some fights.
Right. You getting some rounds for some up and coming fighter. They're getting some rounds, some quality rounds.
Well, even champions like Lomachenko, he had to work his way back. Who did he fight? He fought Comey and Nakatani.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He didn't fight nobody really good. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who's really, he fought, these journeyman guys that's already been beaten in the ring. And that's the setup right there, give them a little light touch, and then, set them up with somebody, Teofimo Lopez never gave Lomachenko a second chance to fight. So, boxing is different in this era than we're used to it. You know what I'm saying? Used to seeing, we getting these setup fights. And these guys are barely making it by. They don't care about no controversial win. But I give Caleb Plant all the credit in the world for beating Dirrell. I think he wouldn't fight him. I don't think Caleb Plant would have fought him, 4 years before or 3 years before.
I don't think they would have made. I don't think they would have made Plant or made Dirrell available for him 4 or 5 years ago. The matchmakers would have seen on that fight. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because when he fought, what's that guy named? Caleb Plant. What's that dude? I could barely. He starts with a U. What is his name? What is that guy?
If you hadn't said it, I would have had it.
His name got about.
Oh my God.
When Caleb Plant fought that guy, Yucataras.
Yeah. No. It's shit. I can't remember.
Look at that. He put it in the chat, and I still can't pronounce it. What is it? UTK? How you say that? UTK? I don't know how to say that shit. But yeah, he you know what I'm saying? That's when he ran out of gas.
Right.
In that fight. And you know what I'm saying, he lucky that dude, you know what I'm saying, didn't have the skills, to catch up with him and stuff. But that dude, he was a hard hitter. And he could punch hard. But see, back then, I think that's where he won his belt, right? That's where he won his belt. And but see, he stayed away from the tough competition, and that's why I never really liked Caleb Plant like that, because he never really went for the big dogs in the division. I liked his style, but I didn't like his fighting spirit.
I mean, he fought the other Caleb, Truax. They had a good fair back and forth, a good exchange or what have you. But the other dude, thanks to Renee Box Young for breaking it down phonetically for us. We still can't
I
say that
told
shit.
y'all subscribe to Renee Box Young. He be all up. He be doing his work, bro. Doing his research. He be up in there. He know it all. You know, so PGH Big Dog in the building. Yes, sir. But yeah, I respect his skills. I just wish he went for, he was one of them fighters that didn't care who he fight. You know what I'm saying? It went for, now that he fought Canelo, you know what I'm saying? He think he on another level now. Now
Right.
he feel he gonna I don't fight Mexican fighters. And they ain't for to fight no Mexican season. They don't want to see David, bro. Not that David is all that he's unbeatable, but I mean, you see he how many punches he's throwing around. Nobody really wants to deal with that, and it's got to be dealt with because he's one of the top. And how many eliminators he's going to fight
Right.
before he get a shot at everything? And he's owed that. He's got, the whole deal went down with his belt. Canelo coming in and getting his belt. I mean, he's just been screwed all the way around the division. You know, with Jamal Charlo, not talking all that noise, clout chasing the man, and not coming up there to fight him.
Right.
So we got a lot of cap going on right now in boxing, and I just don't know. Saying we keep coming back to the same few fighters that want to fight everybody. So we can't even rely on Tank. Saying much as we believe in his ability, much as we love his skill in the ring. Saying you just never know. Saying who we gonna get next with him, and is he gonna like really put it on the line and fight the Devin Haneys and the Shakur or whoever, Frank Martin, whoever's good out there. We want to see Tank, not what he can do against all those guys, and that's the thing for me. I want to see the best fight the best,
Right.
and it's just hard to get them fights made because everybody got different, ways of doing business. And I don't want to. I don't want that. I don't want boxing to be like that. I want boxing to be like, hey, he called me out. Let's set it up, type situation. I don't think we're going to get the Errol Spence Jr. Terrence Crawford fight till next year.
Yeah. I
Uh,
don't see how we could get it before then.
hmm
The holidays are coming. There's no announcement. There's no squared away contract. So yeah, this is a 2023 fight that they're gonna keep on building on and building on. And I don't know when they'll give it, but I'm hoping that we get it next year, first quarter.
hmm Yeah, Renee Box Young says, yeah, he said, I'm sure Plant won't fight Benavidez anytime soon. Respect the Plant, though. That's what I say.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to fuck with David, bro.
Yeah.
They
There's a
they talk
problem.
they talk shit about his skills, and then, he fought David Lemieux, went out there and beat the hell out of David Lemieux, even though David Lemieux he passed it too.
Right.
But
Right.
but David Lemieux could hit like a mule though. You know what I'm saying? He ain't no punk, man. He went out like he went out on the shields, and but David showed you that he's relentless, and Canelo knows if he get into the ring with that kid, he's gonna be fighting for like it's gonna look like Pandora on his ass. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Yolanda? How you doing? Thank you for sliding through. But who you want to see fight this year?
Everybody, man. At this point, we've had some dry spots, but then we've had a good drenching of fights in the last month or two. I just wanted to continue on into the new year. But yeah, I'm open to all these fights, the ones that ain't even been thought of yet. Matchmakers need to do their job, and the politics need to take a step aside a little bit, so we the fans can get some of the fights that we think are deserving, and not just political strategizing and positioning for a bigger bag, bigger payday. And I mean, of course, you can't extract the financial side of boxing from the sport because it is the major part in why they fight. But the spirit of the sport itself is being buried under all the financial political
Hmm.
shit, you know.
Now, it's a lot of people excited about that fight, that Ryan Garcia versus Tank fight.
Yeah.
Um, I'm for one not, because I believe Tank will go out there and do a Rolly Ramiro on him.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, not in that exact way. The fight, because Ryan like to come forward. He's only effective going forward. Um, Tank is very crafty, and he has a lot of experience. And he to me, he just got way too sharp, way too versatile for Ryan. And I think he is a threat. Don't get me wrong, because he's long, he's fast, he's got power. But what I'm saying, Tank would definitely have to sell out to get inside of Ryan. His fast jab, but he only got a couple of punches. You know what I'm saying? And he's got fast feet. Ryan Garcia, he's got fast feet, but that's about it. And he's not creative um, with his offense. He's just fast and got power. That's his danger right there. I think Tank would just go in there and Tank would just catch him. You know what I'm saying? I think Tank would just catch him, just bide his time. He would lull Ryan Garcia into being comfortable with throwing those punches, and Tank would just catch him in between shots. You know what I'm saying? And once Tank stun you, it's over, because he's his chin. He throws punches with his chin in the air. We all know this. So Tank could throw an overhand right, or he could catch him with a damn uppercut, and it'd be over.
Yeah,
You
that
know.
uppercut is definitely a finisher.
Hmm. I just don't see that fight being as competitive. So I think that's just another win for Tank by brutal knockout. I don't think that's going to be a challenge for him. But I would like to see Tank roll up on Lomachenko like that. You know what I'm saying? Not that Lomachenko is some, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just that Lomachenko has challenged him in the past. And I don't think Tank was ready mentally for that fight
Mm.
back then, you know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have the confidence. He was just a young kid with a lot of talent. But, shit, you know, Lomachenko about damn 30, about 28 years old when he become a pro. He was about 25. What he
Yeah.
was when he became a pro. So, and he had about 300, 400 fights.
Yeah, but that's typical of them amateurs though. They fighting well into their 20s from Europe, the European amateurs, I should say.
So you
Um,
you got a you got a grown ass man beating up kids.
yeah, 17,
Yeah.
18 years old versus a 26-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This motherfucker ripping up center blocks and shit from under trailer parks.
Mm.
And you know what I'm saying? As a grown man, you know what I'm saying? He ended up beating up these kids and stuff. But my point is, he has so much confidence and experience mentally. He's mentally strong, and he
Right.
knew that Tank wasn't mentally strong back then. But
Well,
now I think it.
but that's
Hmm.
why he called on him then, trying to knock him off early.
Hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. What's going on, Christian G? What's going on, B? Right, 87. And let me see. Charles, I dropped the link for you if you want to come on up, bro. Renee, if you want to come on up. Yeah, so are there any prospects that you like? Any prospects out there that you got your eye on that you think going to blow up and be like a superstar in boxing?
There are a number of them that are up and coming, but what I did see last night that I don't think we touched on that Vito Melnecki.
Hmm.
He fought last night. He fought this guy Ponce. Um, I don't know. I think as the competition continues to increase a bit, uh, Vito is getting better at dispatching these guys, but he's not running in there trying to just get the knockouts. Now he's actually having to fight and show some diversity in his game, because this dude last night, he came to fight. He wasn't no world beater in any way, but you could tell he didn't come in there thinking that, well, let me just go on and get this hit upside the head and collect my check. I think this guy was really trying to win the fight, with what limitations he had.
Hmm.
Um, but that was an interesting a little duel between the two of them. But I think like a few years ago, Melnecki was however his last name is pronounced, from Jersey. Vito was the next best thing,
Well,
but he's
well,
not. I don't think.
I'm not. I didn't catch that fight. I'm like on this kid, Bruce Carrington,
Oh,
the
Shushu.
guy that, yeah, they call Shushu. Man, man, that kid, his skill impressed me, bro.
Yeah,
You know what
and
I'm
his
saying?
poise, his poise too.
Man, his skill level, bro. I like, how when we saw Floyd Mayweather for the first time,
Yeah,
and you was like, God damn, I can't wait till his next performance. He went out there and he blasted out Angel Manfredi. And Angel Manfredi, for a lot of people out there who ain't old like I am, um, Angel Manfredi was the man at one time, bro. He was
hmm
the man. And Floyd Mayweather went out there and he just decimated his ass, like destroyed him. So I think it was like in the first round. Just went
he,
out there and just threw about 800 punches, just boom, 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 just beat him down. And I was like, who is this dude? You know what I'm saying? Who
yeah,
is
he
this
beat
guy?
on him. Yeah,
You know, and
he definitely came to beat on him too. You know what I mean?
yeah, because Floyd used to style on your ass. You know what I'm saying? If Floyd knew how to moonwalk, he would moonwalk on your ass back then. Yeah, you remember how he used to go at the crowd and how he used to just yell at the crowd and how he was just so what I'm saying, polarizing. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, to the fans. Because everybody, he felt like he had that chip on his shoulder. So a lot of people don't really know Floyd like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how aggressive he was and how he went out there and just destroyed folks. They just know Floyd from when he became Money Mayweather,
right.
and they don't realize how mean and aggressive he was when he was knocking out dudes. He wasn't no joke, bro. He was kind of like a Tank Davis, but except he was just more athletic, in my
hmm
opinion.
Yeah, those hand issues he had really
Hmm.
forced him to become a different kind of fighter. But I think in some way it kind of stole from us one of the most spectacular rough and tumble fighters in the modern era. You know,
Hmm.
just not being
And
able to do what he want to do.
Oh, Cool Boy Steph, man, that's another one.
Yeah, he
That's
was
in
in the house last night.
man, Cool Boy Steph. He man, I know Bam is in a lower weight class. I know Cool Boy Steph is at 122. I think he's thinking about moving up to 126.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, but old boy waiting on him up there. The one who be doing his eyebrows, Figueroa, is it?
Yeah,
Th-
Brandon or
Brandon.
yeah.
Yeah, Brandon Figueroa is waiting to fight him again. 'Cause he was talking about dropping weight to come back down to 122 to fight, Cool Boy Steph, which was an excellent fight. By the way, don't that fight was, oh man, that was Cool Boy got so many skills, bro. But I hope he get a chance to become undisputed at the weight class he's at. Um,
I think that guy Butler is somewhere in the mix too for that in that division. I can't think of his first name, but the last name is Butler.
mm,
He's in that 22, 26 running. Then they also
you know,
talking about your boy Inouye. You
oh
know,
man, I don't even fuck with it anyway, man. No, I'm kind of biased because the way they do his name in the top 10. I know he ain't got nothing. He can't
yeah,
control that, but
right, right.
you know what I'm saying. Until he fights somebody, bro. You know what I'm saying. Until he fights somebody. You know. He
Who
says. Renee said in a way versus Paul Butler this year.
Butler? That's
Um,
Paul Butler. I couldn't remember his name. Right, 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 right. Paul Butler.
uh-huh. Oh, he says Tiger Johnson, Brandon Lee, Frank Martin. Those are my guys. I'm
Yeah,
looking at. Okay, yeah. Yeah. You know what? I haven't really caught a lot of Brandon Lee fights. He always goes off by the time I get there. You know what I'm saying? But I go to YouTube and look at, what I'm saying, what he can do. But the people are high on Brandon Lee. Um, Keyshawn Davis. I never seen Tiger Johnson fight yet.
yeah. Tiger can fight.
You know
Tiger
what I'm
could fight.
saying?
I think Brandon Lee had a tough fight. I think his last fight he had a tough fight. He had to really dig down and find some shit because he was looking a little suspect, but he pulled it off. I can't remember if it was the last fight or the fight before last, but yeah, he found a way to get it done.
Hmm. I gotta check. I see. I got a lot to catch up on here with Brandon and Tiger. Of course, I know Keyshawn and Frank. You know what I'm saying? Will them two ever meet? I don't think Keyshawn can really fuck with Frank Martin right now. I mean, he haven't even had a 10 rounder yet. Keyshawn. He's still doing 8 round fights.
Right.
So
He's only had
so
six. He's only had 6 fights.
right. You know what I'm
So
saying? So he ain't. I mean, Frank. I think he's had like 4 10 rounders. So it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be good for Keyshawn right now to fight somebody on that level.
yeah, he's
You know,
underdeveloped.
Oh yeah.
He's underdeveloped. He's not ready yet.
And plus, Frank is training under, in my opinion, one of the best trainers of the year under Derek James.
Right.
He would change that boy whole career trajectory. The way he goes to the body and the power Frank Martin has. He's super sharp, super 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 sharp. But I think Keyshawn got a lot of talent. Don't get me wrong. I just hope he don't. Well, he would top rank, so he's with the best matchmakers in boxing. So they're not gonna put him out there to lose. They're gonna build him up. But he need to stay out of these other champions. He need to stay out their way. Because he until he fights somebody at least. I'm high on Keyshawn Davis. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love his brashness and everything like that. But until he start getting into the mix and actually, showing that he can win on a championship level, just calm down, kid.
Right.
You'll get
Right.
there.
Calm down.
Calm down and get a haircut. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
funny.
Get a haircut, bro. You know what I'm saying? He killing me with them braids, bro. You know what I'm saying? So Renee said, I recently pushed a video on Tiger Johnson. I got to check that out because I never really did check him out yet. He's still got a ways to go. But they're really promoting him well because with all these little maybe that's why he's doing it, getting into these arguments so people know who he is, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Getting
No
his
doubt.
name out there. Because I was like, damn, so I've been seeing Keyshawn a lot. In the news, you know what I'm saying, on the Twitter or whatever, because I'm following him on Twitter,
Right.
and he's always doing some Instagram shit, So I don't know what it is with Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis, but they always going in on these Instagram lives and stuff, and they always going back and forth, going off on Chris Colbert. You know what I'm saying? Going off on Chris Colbert, who's supposed to
Yeah.
be challenging Frank Martin. I think that's cap though. I don't think he would fight Frank Martin, even though he said that's his next fight.
Yeah.
I think
It could be his last fight.
because if Hector Garcia beat shit out of Chris Colbert, Frank Martin would destroy him.
Yeah,
Because
I
he
mean
don't.
Hector's an unknown fighter, but he's a decent fighter.
Oh
He's
yeah, he
decent.
had like 300 amateur fights and
Yeah,
shit.
he's definitely a decent fighter.
Cuban training. Yeah, he's definitely Olympian too. I believe if I remember, he's an
Right.
Olympian. So the dude is solid. And he showed his worth. When he got I think it was like a week notice he got for that fight.
Yeah,
They just
days
didn't know.
notice. Yeah, like
Yeah,
five
was it a
days.
day's notice?
Yeah, five
Damn.
days. Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
just
think
went
he
out
was
there
train.
like.
I think he was training for. I think he was training for something. You know, the word is that you stay in shape because you never know when that call's coming, and
Hmm.
he just happened to be perfectly timed in the right position and the right number hit at the same time to get him in that position for this win. But I like Colbert, but I never really cared for him once he started talking shit. Like
Hmm.
just like once your fighting brand is you talking shit is more important than your skill brand, then I start looking at you a little bit differently. So I
Well,
was kind of go ahead,
he had
bro.
me rolling when he told me he Mexican.
Right,
You
dude,
know what I'm
why?
saying? I was like, this dude he'll be tripping, bro.
Yeah, he
I
wild.
said, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. So, but I don't know if they're gonna make that fight. I don't think. I just can't think Colbert is doing a little clout chasing, and you know, Frank is serious, a serious threat. He's a serious fighter, bro. But I want to see these young guys get in there and get their name up. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause we could be seeing them on with their own cards. I could see Frank Martin carrying a card one day. Um, of course, Stevenson moving up to 135 is exciting. Um, you know, what you think next for Wilder? You think you're gonna take another soft touch, or you know what I'm saying?
Uh,
You think you're gonna just
Probably.
Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, I think they're trying to set that up
Yeah, well,
for
that was the fight that they were trying to. I heard that they were trying to make as a comeback fight for Wilder before this Robert Helenius. There was now this is not official, but this is some Twitter buzz. I'll put it like that. That
mhm.
that Andy Ruiz was um in the scope for Wilder's comeback fight.
Man, Wilder would knock Andy Ruiz
Yeah,
ass out.
I think he puts Andy asleep.
Because Andy Ruiz, he's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. Now, he's a good fighter, but I don't think he could get in on Deontay Wilder like that. His arms too short. He's too small. It's gonna take a big heavyweight like with the reach of Tyson Fury, somebody who can box, somebody who got some pop to beat Deontay Wilder. And Andy Ruiz is not that fighter.
No, he's not.
Yeah. And I don't think Anthony Joshua, even now, you know what I'm saying? I don't think Anthony Joshua, I think he would rather run through hell with gasoline draws on than to fight Deontay Wilder, even now, you know. Because I look like that would make sense. That I believe that fight next would do numbers.
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua. I think that would make sense for both of those fighters right now. They both took losses, and they got unfinished business. And it'll be Britain versus United States. Another thing, what did you think of that crowd? That crowd of that British crowd. Um, did you think What did you think? They were fair? Did you think they was, just just a regular British type crowd rooting for their folk?
I think that's what it was. Mainly showing favoritism to their fighter from their soil. I get that. I don't
I
think it
hate
was.
that little chant they do. Whoa,
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
bullshit.
yeah, yeah.
I like,
Yeah.
bro, that shit is lame. They did that shit with Hatton. They, they had some kind of thing. They had remember when Floyd fought
Right.
Hatton,
Yeah, yeah.
and they was and they had some kind of chant. How that thing went something, but I mean that shit was lame, bro. I think they did it with Anthony Joshua. They had one with Anthony Joshua. Man, them Brits are just lame, bro. Ooh, Lord, they lame. How did you feel? I saw Claressa with the backup dancers, bro. That surprised me,
Yeah.
bro. And Claressa just came out. I was like, what is going on, bro? She came out with the backup dancers and
Yeah,
uh,
shit is a spectacle.
yeah, I was like, what is up? I was like, they were dancing and Claressa was dancing, and I was like, oh, hey. Kind of remind me of Roy Jones Jr. when he did that. He had all the women, and
Mm-hmm. Well,
he came out with the smoke.
Roy Jones had, he has that rapper vibe. So, it's all a big show for him.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was like, that boy, these guys, they know how to put on the show. I was like, look at Claressa, man. That showed you some confidence, that girl has nothing but confidence, man. I'm just always amazed at it, you know what I'm saying? What's going on? B Raya 87 says, imagine if Wilder sleep Andy in the first round. I'm laughing my ass off. He says AJ would be pissed. Hey, bro. That was said all, bro. But Wilder got different intangibles. He's got different intangibles than your boy. He got that right hand that could erase everything. So Andrew Ruiz got to work for his. He really do. I'm sorry I lost you, Seawood. See, he said, I honestly think Andy. Renee says, I honestly think Andy is second guessing a fight with Wilder after what he did last night. Well, I think Andy Ruiz is better than Robert, Helenas. And what I'm saying, and it would be a great payday for him because he need to keep his name up. He need to keep on getting good fights. You know what I'm saying? I like Andy Ruiz. He's just a little undisciplined, but he looked like he's trying to stay in the game. What's that? Right 87 says Carissa did super good. That one was great. Yeah, I mean I was like I said, I was highly impressed, bro. I was so impressed by her determination, her heart as a champion, and that's something you want to see from the men. You want to see men dig deep and take the best challenge. That's why I be on Terrence Crawford so bad because his career is so lacking. But you want to see him like he fought in the Gamboa fight. You want to see him challenged and somebody who can actually put hands on him and see face some adversity and come out on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Victorious or lost or go out on your shield. And that's all I ask from him. You know what I'm saying? So not see a lot of boxing fans, they're so comfortable with their favorite fighter not being threatened. See, I want to see Errol Spence fight Boots. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Errol Spence Jr. fight the best, even if he lose. You know what I'm saying? I still want to see that fight. And that's the difference, but I think between me and a lot of boxing fans, they think you just be hating on fighters, and sometimes you do because I can't stand Canelo. You know what I'm saying? I can't. I'm AJ. You know what I'm saying? Because of how they move, they use their power to dodge fights and things of that nature. I think that's unfair to fighters who still need to who need to get those belts. You know what I'm saying? And you playing keep away. That makes me feel some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? When you don't fight the best, but call yourself the best. So, but y'all know how I feel about that. And so I'm proud of Carissa Shields. So proud of her. Maybe she'll give her a rematch. And I think that in a rematch, I think she'll beat her again. But it's going to take more out of Carissa to fight somebody that physically that kind of physically strong. But I think Carissa need that. That's the only way she's going to get challenged in the ring, or say she's going to try to move to another weight class and get undisputed. So it just depends on how high she want to go in the accolades department. But either way, saying she, I'm a fan of her, and I'm always going to put her. Like I said, I think she's pound for pound number one. I think she deserves it. If a woman wins undisputed in three weight classes, if she can't get pound for pound number one, something is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Something is wrong. You know, you ain't got nobody, undisputed twice. She got it three times, bro. That is historical. That's something that we have witnessed, you know what I'm saying? And much as I love Layla Ali, she didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? She pretty as shit, but you know what I'm saying? She didn't do that. So we got to get boxing back on track, y'all, and stop paying for these shitty fights. Caleb Plant, good performance, but he needs to step it up. He need to go fight David Benavidez. You know what I'm saying, to get his stock up. I don't even want to talk about Canelo. You know what I'm saying? We already know what it is with him. But he's once again. Now, see, this is something Canelo does. When everybody start criticizing him, what I'm saying, for doing what he do, dodging and ducking, he start talking about who he's gonna fight. He's talking about he's gonna fight either Bivol or David Benavidez or Jamal Charlo. He know that's what people want to hear. Now, I don't know how much of that comes from Canelo or just his team, trying to keep everybody engaged, keeping everybody excited. You know what I'm saying? But he ain't gonna fight none of them dudes because we seen what he looked like against Triple G. And if that version of Canelo don't beat no David Benavidez, and I think we all know that. You know what I'm saying? You know, he that version of no Canelo, he don't look like the fighter, he don't look fresh anymore, bro. He looked like he looked like he need knee wraps. You know what I'm saying? He looked like he looked like he's at the end of his career. And I think they know that. They're not gonna give him put him in any danger, So, he might retire on our ass. You just never know. But what other fight? Oh, Devin fight with Kambosos. There's nothing to see here, folks. Just Devin. You know, it's time for him to move up to 140. Um, I think Lomachenko was just waiting in the wings and letting Devin kill himself down at 135. So by the time he get to him, what I'm saying? Yeah, I think Lomachenko has been training this entire time. What I'm saying? Just buying his time, just training, and studying Devin Haney. So I think he's going to be ready for Devin Haney. He's going to be ready for the weight um, issues that Devin's going to face when he faces Lomachenko. And I think they're strategically waiting, for that fight. And or they just gonna duck them all together. So we've seen that before too. So we thought Anthony Joshua was gonna fight Deontay Wilder, and that shit never happened. So it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to get some opinions from everybody. You know what I'm saying? Does anybody else want to come up and talk about the fights and what they saw? You know what I'm saying? I got my perspective. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Anthony Jones? Who else is at like I said, I like Shoo Shoo. That's one prospect that I love. You know what I'm saying? I want to see fight more often. I want to see Shakur Stevenson, who he gonna fight next. Um, and they're not taking a lot of damage in the ring, so look like they should be fighting a lot more often. Y'all know what I'm saying? Because Shakur, he easily beat that dude, so he should. I could see him fighting again this year. I want Aerosmith Jr. if he ain't gonna fight Crawford this year, at least fight Keith Thurman. And I know he said that he's not gonna fight Keith Thurman, but right now, what I'm saying, it's not about that. It's about staying active and all of a sudden, now that your boy Earl Spence Jr. is doing the right things, having a nutritionist, getting a team and everything around him that's going to keep him healthy. I want to see him put that in action because these guys are getting older every year, and we're losing legacy fights. You know what I'm saying? The older they get, their time, their time is passing them by. The more they don't fight, and I think that's just a loss for boxing. You know what I'm saying? If you don't fight a Keith Thurman, or if you don't fight, Astanis, or Boots or somebody like that, if he's not going to fight Terrence Crawford this year. And we already know Terrence Crawford. He ain't fighting. He ain't fighting this year. So he gonna chill. Unless he get this Spence fight, I don't see him fighting Josh Taylor. Because he's under top rank. You know what I'm saying? So because he can't go back top rank. He can't go back in that direction. No other promotional company really want to deal with Terrence Crawford. So it's either EJ or what I'm saying, gonna take it to the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? So you know, anybody else want to jump up here and what I'm saying, cover the fight. You know, uh, like I said, I enjoyed that Bumgartner fight, and so we had some really, 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 really good fights this weekend. Now, who I look forward to seeing, let me see this year. Let me see. You know, this, pretty much in the heavyweight division, I want to see Wilder fight again. I don't think he'll fight again this year. Um, let me see who else we got. Besides EJ Boots, I want to see Boots get back in the ring. I don't know who would Boots be fighting. You know what I'm saying this year? Anybody know who would Boots be fighting this year? I think he talked about. I think Ugas said he wanted to fight Boots. I know Virgil Ortiz ain't gonna fight him. Their team was talking about 3 years before they wanted to fight Boots. So who would Boots fight next? I know he wanted Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman said he wanted 10 million to fight Boots. And so I don't know. It looked like it's just hard to make these fights, guys. That's the crazy thing about boxing. Much as we love the sport, it's just hard to get the fights that we want to see. You know. But I just came on to chop it up with you guys, you know what I'm saying? So to give you a chance to cover, everything and see what get some opinions out there to see how y'all feel about these fights, you know what I'm saying? So I guess we'll make this a short stream and we'll come back tomorrow night and see what's going on out there in boxing and I'm gonna take it in, y'all. You know. But this has been Pool Kind of Boxing, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to my channel for more hardcore boxing content. You know what I'm saying? See you guys in the next one, man. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Peace. Still tired from them damn fights, man. I see you guys in the next one, y'all. Peace. Mm.